Well, welcome back, baseball fans, to the Fall Carryover League. Today we are eliminating the Seattle Mariners. They actually gave Texas a nice scare. The series went 5 games. The Rangers won it in 5 to continue their season, we think. Still fighting for that final playoff spot. Seattle made all the games played with tough games. They just don't have a complete roster, really, which is expected. So it's time to take their 76 guys out, and it'll be wait till next year. And why I say take their 76 guys out, we know one thing: they don't have any 76 guys because the Mariners didn't exist until 1977. So when we do that, let's see, one more 76 guy in here. There we go. And when we take them all out, we find, yeah, a very big imbalance. 10 hitters and 2 pitchers as they enter their 77, 78, 9, 80 season, which seems pretty obvious. They're going to have to build up an offense and have a lousy pitching staff. I think it was the other way with Toronto. They had good pitching and a bad offense. So for the Mariners, they have coming back, I guess Bittner can be DH. You have Ellis catch. Let's see here. You have Bakhti play some first base for you. You have Julio Cruz at second. Lenny Randle at third. Kiko Garcia at short. Bucky Dent also at short. So, yeah, you have very few. Yeager can also catch. So you pretty much have everything but, yeah, 2 outfield spots to fill. Bassitti and Roberts here. So you need a left-handed hitting center and left fielder. And one of those guys will be Pachorik, I'm thinking. The other guy is Bill North, who you may let go. And as far as pitching, well, look at this, folks. They don't have any starting pitching. Romo's the closer and D'Acquisto's the relief starter. They actually can start if needed, which it could very well be if they can't find any pitching at all. They got to find 3 left-handed pitchers, too, of the 6. And, again, that can be either 1 starter and 2 lefty relievers or vice versa. But they're probably going to have the worst pitching staff in the league next year. Maybe the idea is they get 2 stud hitters and at least they outscore their opponents. So when we look at the guys that are leaving from 76, the 2 hitters are, of course, North and Pachorik. North was a 290 and a 276. They could potentially improve that. The 3 lefties, it was Rudy May. Sadecki was a reliever by this point in his career, as was Knowles. Briles and Dobson, no big losses there. They didn't pitch very well at all. And Bosman was a 5. So those pitchers are all pretty much past their prime. So let's see what they decide to do moving forward in their inaugural 1977 season. Okay, so let's take a look here. Bill North. And we're in the late 70s with him. Do they bring him back or not? You know, he's okay. He's got a nice on base percentage for a leadoff guy. As a default, let's bring him back. But if we find that we want 4 other guys, we'll push him into putting him on waivers. Pachorik is next. Now, Pachorik, we know he played for the Mariners for a decent chunk of time here in this era. And let's see. He has a 300 year in 78. And then a 287, 273 years. Oh, yeah. And of course, 321. He'll be a Mariner through 81, we believe, before he gets traded to the White Sox. So, Pachorik, also. All right, so on the pitching, We'll just go right through the starting rotation all the way down, starting with Briles. I'm not expecting much out of Nelson Briles at this point. So Nelson Briles, he's toast. He's still pitching, but for lack of better, let's just retire Nelson Briles. Rudy May, we know he has a lot of options left. Rudy May bounced through baseball, which makes him good for an expansion team, right? We like expansion teams to have guys who bounce around the league. He was an Angel, Yankee, Oriole, Expo, then back to the Yankees. Had a long 16-year career with multiple teams. That's sort of the definition of a guy who looks good on an expansion team. I think they keep him. You know, I think they keep Rudy May. They keep him as the anchor of their pitching staff, or they make an incredible trade for somebody and say, "You give us a king's ransom, you can have Rudy May." All right, Pat Dobson, he's got to be getting up there in age. Yeah, he's done 165 whip. Yeah, as predicted, you know, they're gonna have to go find new pitching. Bosman, I think he's gone too. Yeah, well, right there. So you can tell right there you don't have to go any further. You see it's 76, the final year. So Bosman, that was his final year, and he's gone. So 3 of their pitchers were pitching on borrowed time this past season for Seattle. No wonder they didn't do very well. Ray Sadecki has 1 more year, and it may not be very good either. 77, Sadecki, and now he pitched 3 innings. So they are going to have to make some moves. If anybody needs some retired players, call Seattle. They got plenty of old dudes that need to be retired. And lastly, Daryl Knowles. I think he's got some life left, though. He pitches through to 80. His 78 season's pretty good. So what you could do in this situation is, just so you guarantee that you have got something to bring back, you know you've got 4 guys that you can at least bring back. What happens between waiver and retire, again, doesn't matter, other than the fact that you've got to make 2 guys on your team be waived and 2 retired. They can't do that here because they have no more baseball left. The guys on waivers, the whole point of these guys are in this column that are on waivers, have to be draft eligible. And these guys are not draft eligible. They're retired. They're zeros, basically. So they simply, you know, trade out of that with a team that has retired spots open. And possibly even they dangle Rudy May to a greedy team who sees how the upside of Rudy May. Instead of, you know, being on a lousy pitching staff, the best pitcher on a lousy pitching staff in Seattle, does he help a team get to the World Series, like the New York Yankees, for instance? Pachorik seems like a long-time Mariner. Knowles, you know, they don't have any lefties, so definitely he'll help. And Bill North, leadoff hitter, you know, gets on base. It's not horrible. I mean, the worst scenario you have is when there's nobody in this column. If you don't have 4 guys in this column, you gotta hope someone's going to trade you somebody halfway decent before the draft starts. So that's the pros and cons of the carryover league. And again, to get to 4, 2, and 2, you can retire guys who still have some tread on the tires to get to the 64 guys you need in the retirement pool. In the case of if more than 64 baseball players, like Dick Bosman, for instance, who said that was his last year. Obviously, if there's more than 64 players who don't play baseball in the following year of 1977, then the league is going to have to make a correction for that. But usually that is not the case. The retirements are probably in the 50s, mid-50s, 50 players a year. And then guys from the waiver list who simply aren't that great get pushed into an early retirement. And then this retirement list, guys get plucked off of it and their careers get resurrected. So that's it tonight from Seattle, where the Mariners expansion team will soon be getting underway. Thank you for checking out the video. We'll see you next time.